Greetings, Ohioans of Delaware Unity. Great to be with you. Good morning. Feel like I can almost kind of sort of see you in there. Thanks to Joanne and Joe, for inviting me to be here. This is Greg Tamblin, hunkered in the bunker here in Kansas City, where I live. And it's wonderful to be virtually back in Ohio. I want to share some thoughts with you this morning about the sacred and the silly as pathways to the joy of now, of this moment. Because really this moment is all we have. This is all we got. And it's really where almost all the good stuff is right now, right here. Now, normally we do a kind of an opening song and a prayer. I'm going to save that little opening song because there's a lot of music coming up. So I would like to kind of start with a prayer, just to get us centered and settled. So I invite you to just relax and close your eyes and breathe into your body. Take a nice deep breath. Dear God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this moment. And thank you for this breath. We ask you to be in our hearts and in our spirits and minds today. We ask you to help us do your work through our own conscious choices to do your work. And we thank you once again for this day, this moment, and this breath. Okay, well, as I said, I'd like to talk about the sacred and the silly as pathways to the joy of now. And to get into this, I'd like to go back about, is that back? Back around the other side of the earth to ancient Persia, 800 years ago, the great Sufi mystic poets that were writing then. Rumi is one that we're mostly familiar with. I think most of us know Rumi. Some of us are familiar with Rumi's contemporary, Hafez. If you don't know Hafez, I encourage you to get a book of Hafez, H-A-F-I-Z, Hafez poetry, because he's not only deep, profound, very spiritual, but also frequently whimsical, which I love. And 800 years ago or so, Hafez said this: "What is the difference between your existence and that of a saint? The saint knows that the spiritual pathway is a sublime chess game with God, and that the beloved has just made such a fantastic move that the saint is now tripping over joy, bursting out in laughter and saying, 'I surrender.' Whereas, my dear, I'm afraid you still think you have 1,000 serious moves." It's good, isn't it? I can relate to this really well. About 30 years ago, almost exactly, I got into a lot of trouble, a lot of trauma. Life got very serious for me very quickly, and it's a long story, but I was down there. It was a low point. Maybe you've had a low point. You know what that's like, and how it motivates you to get help, to get better. So I was looking at my life and I was trying to figure out what happened, how I got to be the way that I was, and come up with some kind of excuse. So this is what I figured out. This is called Just a Little Soul Hanging Out in Space. Well, I was just a little soul hanging out in space, getting ready to come into the human race. And God came over and he said to me, "Well, kid, what you want to be? Yeah, it's time for you to go get a life. But you don't have to have no struggle or strife. You can live a life of comfort and ease. worldly pleasures. Do as you please. I can give you parents with lots of money. Southern California, bright and sunny, tall and handsome, a movie star, fancy parties, expensive cars, or maybe an athlete with rhythm and grace. You could do the Olympics, win every race, confidence just oozing from you, and the women, they're gonna love you. Or maybe you'd like to help those in low places, like a Peace Corps worker, Mother Teresa. But you know, when it's all said and done, being the Pope is a lot more fun. Or how about a yogi with magical powers? You could levitate for hours and hours and teach everybody to walk on hot coals, sell books and CDs by the truckloads. Well, what do you say, kid? You make the call. You can have any part or you can have it all. You just tell me what you want to be and I'll give it to you. It's my guarantee, yeah. Well, I just stood there with my mouth open, 'cause you know, that's just what I've been hoping. But while I was deciding to choose which one, I thought, well, maybe I'll just have me some fun. 'Cause me and God, see, we're pretty tight. And I know God likes a good joke, all right. So I figure I'll pull his leg for a while, see if I can't make the old boy smile. So I say, Father, oh mine, you know, all that glory, tell you the truth, sounds kind of boring. I want a life with some challenge to it. You know, something I gotta work to get through it. I don't want fame and easy success. I want to be shamed and easily depressed with various physical and mental afflictions. Might as well throw in multiple addictions. I don't need life to be a sweet dream. I want writer's block and low self-esteem, sensitive skin and food allergies, and when I get around girls, make me sneeze. Make me wish that I had more height, give me claustrophobia, stage fright, prone to worry, riddled with doubt, thinking I'll never figure life out. Yeah, that's it, God. That's what I want to have. And then I just shut up so he could laugh. Well, God looked at me with a puzzled brow, shook his head and just said, holy cow. For a minute he stood there pulling his beard, and then he said, kid, you're pretty darn weird. And I know you're just playing the fool, but this time, kid, the joke's on you. And then he grinned at me and he yelled, Shazam! And that's my story, and here I am. Can you relate? If you can, that's great. You know, Will Rogers said, if you find yourself in a hole, the first thing is stop digging. Yeah, we have to have some awareness around what we think about all day, because it does tend to manifest. We do tend to become what we think about all the time. So it's good to have consciousness around that. The good news about that is if we own that, if we accept responsibility for our lives, then there's power there, right? There's hope there. Because if I'm the problem in my life, I'm also what? The problem in everyone else's life. It's a little joke I happen to love. So there's a doctor you've heard of probably, because he had a movie made about him starring Robin Williams. His name is Patch Adams. And Patch is a very interesting character. He's almost finished building the first silly hospital in the country. It's called the Gesundheit Institute. You can go there. It's in West Virginia, not too far from you. You could go there and volunteer. Well, one of the things Patch says, I've been around Patch a lot, and I've heard him say numerous times that he feels like the world is wallowing in misery. and that one of the most radical things you can do is to have a good day. Well, that's not radical to us in Unity. We teach that. But let me ask you this. We all know that life is serious. It's serious. If we forget, we can turn on the news for a couple of minutes. We get reminded how serious life is. But let me ask you this. Are you like me? Have you ever had the particular gift or talent of making life even more serious than it already is? Because I'm an expert at this. I can forget everything in 10 seconds and revert. So I wrote a song about it for myself. You can see if this helps you. It's called Writer's Block, or the long-term positive and negative effects of worry. I was worried about not writing any songs. No words, no tunes, nothing for way too long. I was worried I'd never write again. Maybe there was no more ink in my pen. And I thought about that, and I began to feel ashamed. I was ashamed that I'd been worried about not writing. I'd been through droughts before and come out fighting. It seemed like my worry was out of control, and I was ashamed about it down to my soul. And then it hit me what I was doing, and I started feeling guilty. I was guilty that I could let myself feel shame over something so insignificant as this writing game. I thought I'd released that stuff long ago, and I felt guilty because I had such a long way to go. And then I realized what I was doing, and I got embarrassed. I was embarrassed that my shame could make me feel guilty. All these negative thought patterns, man, it was silly. If someone could see inside my head, they'd give me a drug and put me to bed. Yeah, I was embarrassed, and that made me mad. I was angry that I could be so immature. I was angry at me, down on myself for sure. And as my anger turned into resentment, I thought about what the long-term effects of that meant, and I realized what I was doing to my body, and I began to feel afraid. I was afraid of what I was doing to myself. All these negative emotions affecting my health. If body and mind are so interconnected, my shame, guilt, worry, and fear were making me infected, and I was afraid that I was becoming depressed. And as I began to sink into depression, the effect on my body and mind became an obsession. The outcome of this could not be in doubt. It gave me something new to worry about. I knew that I might not be around for too long, so I wrote it all down and I had a new song. And when I thought about that, I was fine again. Pretty silly, right? But there's great joy in that. See, there's great joy in taking something limiting and restrictive and bothersome and threatening and turning it upside down or inside out with humor, reframing it with humor so that it's not such a big deal anymore. Both of those songs were about difficult situations and reframing them with humor so that they no longer have control over me, but I have the power. I have the control over the situation because it's been turned upside down. And worry is the enemy of joy, right? Because if we're worried, Are we in this moment? Nope. Where are we? Well, we're in the past or the future, but we're not here. And the thing is, it's okay to look at the past and the future, just don't stare. A lot of us get in the habit of staring. It's easy to do. We get a lot of encouragement to hang on to that old stuff or worry about the future. I heard Mel Brooks talking about this on television. He said, Socrates told us it's good to know thyself. He said, but I've learned it's way better to now thyself. Now thyself. He said, we need more people living in the now, living every day like this is our last day. Which is why I never have any clean clothes, because who wants to do laundry on the last day? Well, silliness is a great way to now thyself. Silliness is a great way to stop staring at the past, worrying about the future, and come back to the moment. Every 4-year-old knows this. We knew it when we were 4 years old. Jesus said the kingdom of heaven is where? Within. And to enter the kingdom of heaven, we must be like a child. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. But we forget. Why? Because we're grown-ups. We have a lot of important grown-up stuff to do here in the U.S. of stress. Or as a friend of mine likes to call it, the excited states of America. Yeah, we're busy, we're multitasking, and we forget to just come back to the moment. And my bias about this is that all the qualities we come to God for, all of the things we associate with God, all the love and the beauty and the strength and the power and the grace and the healing and the forgiveness and the comfort and the joy, everything that we want from God and with God is available in every moment. God never goes on vacation. But we forget because we got a lot of busy grown-up stuff to do. My bias also about this is it's a cultural thing. You don't have to believe this, but our country to a great extent was colonized by the Puritans. Remember them? They were so serious, the English kicked them out. Another joke. H.L. Mencken said that a Puritan is someone who's worried that somehow, somewhere, somebody is having a good time. So we all have a bit of that Puritan DNA in our makeup. We all have some of that. The good side of that is we all know how to work hard. We still work harder than any other country in the world. We do. Americans work more hours than any other country in the world. We're very productive. It's that lightening up part that some of us have trouble with. Life is serious. Well, we said that already. Okay, so a lot of times people will ask me, okay, I am busy and I want to have more humor in my life, more play. How can I do that? Is there an easy way to do that? And my response, this is what I teach in my humor workshops, is one of the things. We learn a lot of stuff, but one of the things is one of the easiest way to inject some silliness into every day is a very sacred sort of comedic practice. Try not to give a serious answer to any question that doesn't require it. And that means 95% of the questions you get asked every day. Try not to give a serious answer. People say, okay, well, how do I get started doing that? I say, well, what's the most common question you get asked every day? Right. How you doing? How are you? How's it going? And normally, what do we say? Oh, fine. Okay. All right. Once in a while, we go crazy and we say, oh, fantastic or great. But that's about it, really. It's kind of a ritual. So instead of that, how about we interrupt their pattern? When they ask us, how you doing? How about we say something like, how you doing? Well, I'm still getting away with it. Or, how you doing? Parts of me are excellent. How's it going? My tattoos are spreading. How are you? You can see me? You see where this is going? And there's dozens of these. I have so many and that I'll share with you. But let me give you a quick example of how well this can work. Now, you're not always going to hit a home run like this, but sometimes you are. So I got on a flight on Southwest Airlines, and you know how you board Southwest Airlines through into the galley, the little kitchen. And there's always a flight attendant there to make sure you turn to the right and not the left into the cockpit. They want you to sit in one of the seats that are not in the cockpit. So she's standing there, and I get on board, and she says, "Hi, how are you? Welcome to Southwest." And I said, "I'm hungry. Steak and lobster for lunch?" And she laughed, and she said, "Sure. How do you like your steak?" And I said, "Rare." And she said, "Well, that's good, because any steak on this airline would be extremely rare." And we both cracked up, and I said, "Well done." So I took my seat. I don't know what this did for her, but it changed my whole day. I was laughing about this the whole flight. I was just kind of chuckling. It made me so happy. And every time she came down the aisle, we would lock eyes and smile. And so we had this little thing going. And it was just the best. So every once in a while, stuff like this happens. And every once in a while, you're also going to fall flat. But that's okay. You gave yourself permission to be silly. And what did you risk? Nothing. Not really anything. So that's something you can try. Now, if you want some ideas, you can go on my website, gregtamblin.com, and then look for the link to the humor blog in the menu, and click on the humor blog, and you'll see an article called How You Doing? And you'll see dozens of answers to that question that you can play with and try. Okay? Now, the other thing that I wanted to mention is the experience of the sacred. You know, you come to this church, and you know there are lots of ways to come back to the moment, like prayer and meditation, service, gratitude, powerful feelings of love and connection. These are all things that tend to bring us into the moment. Dancing also works pretty well. But I want to mention that the experience of the sacred, and I'm talking about the mystical connotation of this word sacred. So one of the things I did when I got down in that black hole is I went back to reading mystics, and I rediscovered the mystical experience descriptions down through the ages and across the traditions. They're amazingly similar, the vocabulary. Words like nirvana, ecstasy, rapture, God consciousness, bliss consciousness, joy beyond description, these kinds of terms, because it's something that the mystics that have achieved that state, it's all they want. It's all they care about, really, is living in that state where God is everything. There's only God. There's no little self anymore. There's just a big self. So, time-honored ways of getting there are singing, chanting, prayer, meditation. I thought we could just almost finish up with a little short musical meditation. So I'm gonna play a little something and give you a little prayer. And I'd like you to just relax wherever you are, into your chair. Take a nice, deep, slow breath into your body. Have some gratitude for your body, for this moment. And listen to this little prayer I learned on my travels. Let all things be healthy. Let all things be peaceful. Be sure to count your blessings at least once a day. Forgive those who have hurt you and those who have offended you. But forgive yourself for what you have done and for that which you have failed to do. That which is done there is no need to speak of. That which is past, there is no need to blame. Have self-control, self-knowledge, self-respect. and the courage to dare. Be tranquil. The light of intelligence will shine. Strive to make a spot where you stand beautiful. Then the beauty and harmony will follow you in all your ways and in all your days on this journey we call life. Okay, welcome back. Now, I'm supposed to finish with one more song, and I have a fun song for you. But what I'd like to do is actually play you a video of this song, because a friend of mine recently made a clever and a very cute video that's topical. It's relevant to what we're all experiencing right now, and I think you'll have way more fun with this video than if I just play you the song. So let's do the video, and then I'll be back to take us through the prayer of protection and finish up. Okay, here you go. This is called All These Atoms.
You breathe out, I breathe in. We're sharing molecules again. Oxygen and hydrogen, but do you know where your atoms have been? Parts of me were once in you. Genghis Khan and Hitler too. Jesus Christ and dinosaurs. Princess Di and Dinah Shore. All the atoms everywhere circle back so we can share. No escaping, yes it's true. Parts of me were once in you. My whole body, smooth and hairy, is really very temporary. Every year a new epidermis. Maybe next year's will be firmer. There's some atom somewhere in Spain I could use back in my brain. They stay a while and then they leave. They only fit what we conceive. All the atoms everywhere circle back so we can share. Like some ever-changing brew, parts of me are now in you. As hard as it might seem to be, parts of you were once a tree, once a fish in the primal soup. Something's dinner, something's poop. 15 billion years ago, the Big Bang was quite a show. All this time and now here we are. But parts of you were once a star. All the atoms everywhere share. No escaping, yes, it's true. Parts of me were once in you. All the atoms here on earth get recycled, death to birth, like some ever-changing brew. Parts of me are now in you. All these atoms we've collected only mean that we're connected, since we share what we're made of. Don't you think that calls for love?
Yes, we may be wearing masks and socially distanced, but we're still sharing atoms with each other all the time, every day. One more reason to love each other, especially now. I want to thank you so much for the gift of your attention. It means so much more than I can express. Jojo, thank you for having me. All the songs I did today are available on my website, along with many more songs and t-shirts and books and a lot of fun stuff. It's my stuff, but it could be your stuff. GregTamblin.com. Okay, let's finish up with our prayer for protection. I know you know it, so just say it with me. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is. And all is well. Goodbye for now. Thank you.